always through the technology lens, because, we could help them through, let's look in your books, or let's look at your insurance, or, help them a million ways, but we're always helping them through technology. And we can't do it by ourselves. We use a lot of skilled volunteers, people from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Truist Ally. They're making such an impact in the community. Like, we could go paint fences for an hour on Saturday, or you could use your brain power to help a nonprofit figure out how to use Zoom more effectively. And suddenly, your 1 hour of physical labor.
Help so many more.
Yeah, you using your brain power as opposed to your brawn power is exponentially impactful.
Well, hello on this Monday.
Welcome.
It's Monday.
I love Monday.
It's like 1:30. I love Mondays too.
We get to do it all over again.
I really do love Mondays. A lot of people don't like Mondays.
Well, I love weekends. I'm not saying I don't love weekends, but
you do love Mondays, though, right?
I do love Mondays.
What do you love about Monday?
Feels like a fresh chapter, a fresh start, a fresh page we get to start painting on a canvas.
Such a great outlook. You're so smiles and so full of energy and life. Who am I speaking with today? So everyone watching today knows who you are.
What a great question. And thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Adrienne Craighead. I have lived in Charlotte since 1996, but I'm not a local because I wasn't born and raised here. And I am a full-time fundraiser for a nonprofit. And then I have that passion project called the Tachyon Chamber.
The Tachyon Chamber. What is that?
It sounds so Star Trek-ish, doesn't it?
It does.
So it is a little Star Trek-ish. Would that surprise you?
Not at all.
So the Star Trek-ish part of the Tachyon Chamber is tachyons were first mentioned on Star Trek, so that's where most people heard the word. But they really exist, and they're a subatomic particle that travels faster than the speed of light. And it's got a really beneficial effect on living cells. So humans, animals, and plants all thrive when they have their cells infused with tachyons. And there's only a few places in the world you can go and have that experience, have that tachyon infusion. And now we have one in Charlotte.
We do.
It's up at Lake Norman.
It is?
You've got to come and visit.
Oh, my Lord, that sounds exciting.
It's pretty awesome.
Wow. On a Friday night or Saturday night, if you're bored and you want to go and have an exciting time, go have a tachyon experience.
I would say so.
So walk me through a tachyon experience.
So when I first discovered the Tachyon experience, I went to Waynesboro, Virginia. It was the closest one that I could find to our city of Charlotte. And I walked into this doctor's office, and he said, okay, the Tachyon chamber's in the back. And you walk into the chamber, and it's kind of like a Zen den. There's beautiful tapestries on the wall, and there's like soft music playing, and there's a beautiful aroma in the room, and you sit in this lazy boy recliner, and there's nothing special about the recliner, but what's special is the crystals around the recliner and the pyramid that's overhead. And together, the energy of the crystals is amplified through the arrangement of the crystals in this pyramid overhead. And Mike, it infuses the human body with these tachyons.
It's the Zen Den.
And you'll feel it.
The Tachyon experience. Is there a website to explain this?
There is. I even brought you a picture of this.
Ooh, excited.
This is a photograph of the
Tachyon Chamber experience. This is yours now, right?
This is open, ready for public visits. It opened on August 8th, which is a special date in the calendar, the 8/8 they call the Lion's Gate. So August 8th is when it was opened for the first visitors, and so it's been open about 2.5 months now, and there's been about 50 people that we've hosted.
I love it. This is really unique. There's not another experience like it.
There's really not. There's almost 100. There's less than 100 of these around the world, but they're in places like Cairo, Egypt, Paris, France, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Really high-profile cities will usually have one Tachyon chamber. And our city didn't have any, and most of my friends have never even heard of this.
And this is your experience.
This is.
I love it. This is so unique. All right, so we're going to go back a little bit. We met at Bonefish Grill.
That's right.
And we were sitting there at the bar. So if everyone listening can just understand one thing, there's a lot of power in communicating with people at a bar. When you sit next to someone who has an energy force as strong as yours, like when I was sitting there, we're just chilling, eating, having a drink, and you come sit down And it was like a breath of fresh air just set down. You could just feel it. Like it was like a wind blowing. And it was like all of a sudden I look over and there's Adrienne. And you just had this vibrant, just smile, energy about yourself, welcoming anyone who wanted to communicate with you. And this, as soon as you ordered, the bartender, you can almost see the interaction between you and the bartender. And you pick up that, because I'm in sales and I've been in sales my entire life. And I felt like as soon as the conversation was over, you and the bartender had a connection automatically. It was like click. It was like they knew what you wanted. You had just a warm, welcoming, it was almost like really beautiful. It was so beautiful.
That is really wonderful to hear another person, like a third-party observer, reflect on that, because I do live life with a lot of intention, and I see this in you. And whether you name it that or walk out the door in the morning, Mike, and think, okay, I'm going to have a kick-ass day today, you do have a kick-ass day, and it's because you carry this energy of excitement and expectation. You expect good things to happen, and then good things happen. And you expect problems to get solved, and then they get solved. And we both know people who expect bad things to happen, and guess what? Bad things happen. I really believe there's something to this energy that science hasn't quite been able to harness and put a lot of data to, but we know it works in sales. We've both been super successful in sales. We know it works in personal, professional relationships. It works in parenting. And so I wish we could get better language around this, whatever this is, but it absolutely provides for a much more successful life and a lot more fun. And you meet interesting people, and I don't think it was any accident that we met.
It was not an accident. Like, we exchanged numbers. I think we ended up hanging out, having drinks once. I don't know if it was twice, but, then all of a sudden you're in my life.
Yeah.
It's like that simple. It's like click. And people tell me all the time, it's so hard to make friends. At 40, I'm 49 years old. How old are you?
I just turned 50 a couple
Hell
months
yeah,
ago.
Girl.
I know.
Love it. You look so good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the thing is, everyone that I come in contact with in their 40s explain to me, it is so difficult to make friends. And I say, okay, well, let me evaluate this. Your kids grow up and you're friends with your kids' friends' parents. So you're playing sports. And next thing you know, like my son was in motocross and we'd go to the track. And next thing you know, he would become friends with a couple guys at the track. Then I'm friends with their dad. And then we all start going to tracks and doing things together. And when my son quit racing motocross, I'm still friends with those people, but we don't see him anymore. And now all of a sudden, my youngest son is playing football. And now he's got some new friends coming over. And your life just evolves, I think, through the relationships of your children from like 30 to 40. And then when your children start to get older, 18, 19, 16, they start to get to where they're not around as much and they have their own little niche friends. You're kind of lost. You look in the mirror and go, okay, now what do I do? Who do I go out with? Most of the guys are, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but they're out of shape.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just out of shape. And
most of the humans we know are out of shape.
They're just so out of shape. Listen, I'm not in perfect shape, but I go to the gym and I make a commitment to myself, okay? And people look at me and they go, Mike, you're so selfish. You're so arrogant. You're so conceited. And I go, listen, no one else is going to like me more than me. No one. I've got to like myself. Mm-hmm. And if I look in the mirror and don't like myself, then I've got to make that change. No one else can make that change for me. Right. I have to make that change for myself. And the only way to do that is to get up in the morning, have a positive attitude, go to the gym, and make a change.
Well, you're taking care of yourself. And I would take a different take on one of the things you said earlier.
Sure.
When your son kind of evolved out of motocross, those people, you said you were friends and now you don't really talk to them or see them as much anymore. I have a feeling you don't actively go in and like delete phone numbers from your phone.
Not at all.
I don't either. So I noticed I was making friends when my daughters were on the soccer field. And then when something would come around that I'd be like, oh, I really like that one mom. And I remember she loved theater. And you know what? I'm sitting here with 2 tickets to a play that's coming up and she loves musical theater. I'm going to call Michelle. And so even though it had been 1 or 2 years, I would challenge people to say no. Yeah, you haven't talked to Michelle in 2 years, but what's the harm in calling and inviting her? And regardless of whether she says yes or no to the invitation to go see the musical with me, we've kind of reconnected. If she's got capacity in her life, because sometimes you're busy. You're just swamped with work and family and friends and stuff. But if she's got capacity and I've got a little capacity, then Michelle, let's get together. We should hang out again. So you can reignite old friendships at any time.
The seeds were planted and rooted. And when the seeds are planted and rooted, you can water them at any time.
Amen.
I always feel like in the motocross world, there's a certain group of friends. One is Steve Grigg. I haven't talked to him in a year and a half. I had my cancer surgery, and he saw my Facebook post, and he reached out to me 3 times and called me. And I haven't talked to him in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, I hope you're all right. You're one of the good ones. You can't die on me yet.
Good stuff.
I was like, bro, I'm not dying. I'm good.
And you do that for other people, I have a feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
When you have that connection.
Well, Micah is one of those guys that we talk about, Micah. And he's over here. He's the producer for the show. And one of my really deepest friends now. And I love him. He's got such a great positive outlook on life. Always smiling, always positive. And we call it gassing you up. And I'm telling you right now, if you need racing fuel in your motor, just call Micah. Micah is that guy that'll gas you up. And I try to do the same thing to him. I don't need to try, though. I mean, he's so much younger, and he works out. He's vibrant. He's got a model girlfriend, wife now, that literally could be on the cover of every magazine. And you know what's so beautiful about that? Micah's wife is so beautiful, but she's so grounded that she's probably one of the few that doesn't even know how gorgeous she is. Is that true, Micah?
She's also a therapist.
Here, get the
Mic.
mic.
She takes care of herself, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She prioritizes self-care.
Mike, you want to get to Micah?
What's going on?
She doesn't even know how gorgeous she is, does she?
No.
Or does she?
I mean, I tell her all the time. So, but yeah, I think she, she can struggle with
She's
that.
a therapist, right?
Yeah, I mean, she can struggle with that identity sometimes, but like she always sees the beauty in other people, and I'm sure
Right.
you can tell that too.
Well, the one thing that I was going to pay attention to, or what I try to pay attention to, is the person approachable? And she's very approachable. So like you can have a conversation with her. She's not going to make you feel like she's not engaging in the conversation no matter who she's talking to. And that's one thing I like about that.
So I have a theory on that, and
Sure.
I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts. We've both seen really beautiful women and really non-attractive people, and sometimes and everything in between. And you've seen that non-approachability in all ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And we've seen that approachability in all ends of the spectrum. And I think that the common theme is the ones that are approachable are truly confident as opposed to fake confident. Fake confidence is like, oh, I'm too good for you. I'm not going to make eye contact. I'm not going to greet you. I'm too good for you. And that's a fake confidence. And we've seen that. It doesn't matter what they look like. And then we've seen truly confident people who are so comfortable in their own skin. They look warmly into other people's eyes, and they give freely of that energy as opposed to like trying to be standoffish.
You know, one thing I have heard people say about me is I'm genuine, I am me, and I don't apologize for being me. I am me. You either like me or you don't.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I wake up in the morning, I have insecurities. You know, there's things that I worry about. There's things that I'm not happy with. But they don't control me. Like when I wake up, I make little changes every day. You know, if you're going to try to do something about it, it's like when my friends, that were heavy, and they were like, man, I need to get in the gym and look like you. I said, you don't want to look like me. You want to look the best you can look. And he goes, man, I need to lose like 50 pounds. And then I've said this story, I think, a few times. I said, well, when you go to the gym, I said, just make one small change a day and lose 1 pound. I asked him, I said, how hard would it be for you to lose 1 pound a week? Oh, man, I could do that easy. And I said, okay. Well, in 52 weeks, you'll lose 52 pounds. So next year, let's set a goal.
Yes.
And next year, let's go to the beach together and let's take our shirts off.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. 3 months later, oh, man, I ain't been, it's just, people have short-term commitments.
Well, there's the principle that you mentioned, one small change at a time. Have you heard of Kaizen, Kaizen?
Yes.
And that's that whole principle. Make small
little
but
changes.
Sustainable changes.
And one thing that Micah used to always say is we have to have a little win. It's called little wins. You got to get a little win. So in your mind, you're winning. you're not losing. So find something today that you're going to win at. Okay, take a win today. You're going to take a few L's, but find those little wins. Okay, and on this podcast, when we first started the podcast 26 episodes ago, the first few I was learning. I was interrupting people a little bit too much. I was not paying attention as much as I should. I wasn't asking in-depth questions. I was going from A to Z to Z to T to S. But I'm trying to stay on topic a little bit more. I'm trying to listen more. And everyone thinks that I have a radio voice now. Well, unfortunately, I'm not of good hearing in my left ear. So when I put the headphones on and I have the microphone, I now can hear better. I can listen better. I almost wish if I'm having a conversation with somebody at the bar next time, hey man, can you put these headphones on real quick?
Right?
And let's get a mic and let's just talk back and forth, because it's so easy for me to listen now because I can hear better.
You can hear better. Well, I want to compliment you on jumping before you're ready. Have you heard this principle? Jump out of the plane and build the parachute on the way down. And I think we're both comfortable with that. And we know people who aren't, who want to prepare, and they never get off the starting line. And so a lot of the people I mentor, I ask them, launch before you're ready, dive before you're ready, not to make them fail, not to make them step on a stage and do a speech they're truly not ready for, but we're never ready enough. People want to rehearse, and how many times have we seen that used as an excuse to never launch? And you launched this podcast not knowing everything there was about podcasts, thinking I'll learn as I go. And bravo, because you're an example to a lot of people that watch you. Your family, your friends, people in the community like me.
I was telling somebody the other day, I said, listen, when I die, my kids can go back and listen to all these podcasts.
I love that. Yeah.
So let's go and change this a little bit. You're into fundraising.
Fundraising is fun.
And you work for a nonprofit.
Yes.
Is this your business or do you work for the business?
I work for a business.
Okay. And what business is that?
So after being a solopreneur, running my own shop for about 5 years.
And what shop was that?
I ran TorchBearer
Okay.
Business Growth Advisors. And it was a one-person consulting firm that helped business owners find the quickest path to profitability. And a lot of times it was they wanted marketing secrets. Adrienne, you've been in marketing so long. Teach me marketing secrets so I can be profitable tomorrow. But I see sales and marketing as two sides of the same coin, with sales being this side where you're communicating one-to-one and you're actually saying, would you like to buy this product or service? And they're saying yes. And transactions happen, business happens. And then marketing is communication one-to-many. And so you're putting up a billboard or you're making a podcast or something. And yes, lots of people are hearing that message, but there's unless it's like a burger or something, transactions don't happen usually unless you ask for the sale for big ticket items, right? So I was building sales and marketing strategies, but a lot of these new business owners, Mike, they didn't have a marketing budget. So we have to get creative, and we built a sales strategy to get them to where they had a marketing budget, and then we could do both sides of the coin.
We're seeing in the automotive industry the power of influencers. That seems to be very big in the car community. What do you think about the working with an influencer?
So when I was coming up through college, I did my undergraduate degree was in advertising and public relations, and then my master's degree is in communications. And we only had 4 television stations when I was growing up. There was the NBC, CBS, ABC, and then we had Fox come on the scene. And with 4 TV stations, there was only 4 6 o'clock newscasts, and there was maybe a pair of anchors at each one. So you've got 8 possible influencers. Now, media has been democratized. Everyone can be an influencer and own a media company. And I love that there's so many flavors of the rainbow, right, of any kind of influencer you would want. If we decided we wanted to find a retired 80-year-old grandma who ate Skittles and skateboarded, we could find her, right? And so
Find me that girl.
No, where's Edna? Edna, if you're listening, please call in to Mike. But I love that we can find influencers that are truly every shape and size. And I believe in influencer marketing. It's just expanded to the degree, it used to just be a handful of people who really had influence, the Hollywood A-listers,
right.
And that was it. Now
I
everybody.
Think, the TikTok world. What do you think about TikTok?
I love TikTok. You can get lost in there for hours. My kids are both active on TikTok. They follow different influencers. They learn recipes on there.
You learn things. What I have found that's been very good on TikTok is the more that you explain what you do, like the information. It's almost educational.
Right.
Now, Joe Rogan on his podcast here recently went down and talked about TikTok. It's owned by the Chinese government, okay? All of our content and all of our phone records and keyword searches, if you go and read the fine print of accepting what TikTok is, these Chinese are sending the United States all of the people disrespecting their, families. Their, I'm not saying being silly or, silliness, but they're sending us the algorithm of silliness and funny and cartoons and parents, and kids doing crazy things together, right? But do you know what the Chinese are seeing on TikTok? Because I know friends in China. I have a WeChat. I've been to China before. And do you know what their algorithms are showing the Chinese people?
I would imagine obedience.
No.
Success.
Yes, you're right. They're showing success. They're showing entrepreneurship. They're showing growth. They're showing leadership. They're showing power of positivity. They're showing karate. They're showing martial arts. They're showing discipline. They're showing education. They're showing kids that are learning and becoming powerful with their minds. Mm-hmm. We're learning the junk, eating fast food.
Right.
And now they're eating healthy food.
So it's like a media diet.
It's a media diet.
Yes.
And Joe Rogan pointed this out on one of his podcasts here recently and on one of his reels, saying, read the back of your TikTok. I'm thinking about actually deleting it now.
Really?
And honestly, because every search on Google, everything on my phone is now being monitored by the Chinese government. Mm-hmm. Everything. They're seeing everything I search. They know all the apps that are on my phone.
Yeah.
They know what to show me. They know all of the things that I do.
All your friends?
All my friends. They now have access to everything that I do. And it says it on the back of TikTok.
So let's dig into that a little bit. So we know the Chinese have this.
Right.
Probably the Russians, if not already, have hacked into the Chinese and gotten that, and a lot of other bad players. What do you think their objective is?
To dumb us down.
And then what?
Well, think about it. Where do we buy most of our goods and services? Think about the drugs that we bought during COVID. We had to get them produced. I mean, all the drugs came from China.
Yeah.
They had to ship over here. Then all of a sudden the ships couldn't port because we didn't have crane operators. I mean, think of how weak the United States is when we're so dependent on someone else.
So if their goal is world domination.
Sure.
Is that what we think it is?
I don't think it's world domination. I mean, you think about anything, right? Do you want the best for your kids?
Absolutely.
Do you want them to go to college?
Absolutely.
Do you want them to be smart? Do you want them to be successful, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I really think the Chinese government feels the same. I think they want to get 1 billion people more powerful than the rest of the world. I mean, think about it. The United States is the most envied country on the planet, okay? But until you've traveled outside the United States, been to China like I have, been to other countries like Croatia, been to, Italy, been to all these, Mexico. I was just in Guadalajara, Mexico. There are starving. I mean, we're talking starving for just a fraction of what we take advantage of every day. They're starving for it. They're starving for the freedoms. They're starving for the successes. They're starving for the restaurants. They're starving for just the ability to be an entrepreneur, how easy it is for us to live, okay?
Right.
Think about poverty in the United States. We have a phone. Poverty in the United States. You have a roof over your head, and you have a phone, and you have, what's welfare today?
Right.
I mean, really, let's measure welfare, and let's go look at huts in Mexico where there's 6 family members living in a shed made out of cardboard boxes, okay, that are walking a mile to go get fresh water, okay?
But
we're not comparing. They want what we have so bad.
sometimes I would say that. Think about the unhappiness in these houses around Lake Norman and these teenagers shooting up drugs, and they're very isolated. They don't have friendships. They only have screens. And then think about those kids in those shanty towns of Mexico playing soccer under the sunshine and laughing and playing
happy
with their friends. So
barefoot.
yeah.
They're happy.
So we can see from an economic viewpoint, one is doing well,
Sure.
but from a mental health standpoint,
You're not wrong.
You know?
You're really not wrong. Like you see these TV shows that come on the air. Like, I'm just using this for a prime example. I'm not saying the Kardashians. I'm just saying that you take like Hollywood. We were saying Hollywood, right? And I'm Hollywooding it up. The rich family that lives in Beverly Hills, the dad that's the plane jet setter, blah, 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 the mom who's got the lip injections and the Louis Vuitton, everything, all the who's who of everything. But her son hasn't seen her parents, love them or care for them. They just buy another nanny, they buy another tutor, they buy this, they buy that. And then did you see the Hollywood actresses and the Hollywood stars that bought like test and records and SAT scores and admissions to colleges?
Right.
Did you see that?
Yes. Yes, my children also row crew, if anyone's listening. But yeah, they do.
Incredible.
They buy their way into school. We always had a hunch that this was happening behind the scenes. And so now that it's being exposed, I think none of us are truly surprised, but it's still super disappointing that these colleges, like, what was that school in California? It was...
I'm not sure. Do you know what school that was?
Southern Cal, USC.
Was it Southern Cal? It might have been Southern Cal.
I think so.
Yeah.
And she just wanted her kids to be where she went to school.
Do you know in 1980 that average house price was about $65,000?
Did not
in
know
1980.
that.
Okay. In 2022, the average house price right now is about $325,000. Okay. That's 260+%. Okay. Do you know what price of college has gone up? 1,200%.
That's incredible. I was going to say 400, 800%.
I saw this. I don't know if those statistics are exactly accurate. You can Google it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to Google that, Micah, but you can Google from 1980 to 2022, what's the inflationary price of college tuition. But I saw this in an article online. I'm not sure where I saw the source. I want to make sure I fact check myself before I say it. But it was 1,200% is what the cost of a college education went up versus the price of homes went up, okay? Mm-hmm. What changed? Why are all of a sudden professors thinking that they need to be making $250,000 a year? Why do you think even college coaches that coach like these sports teams now are making millions and millions of dollars? It's like everything has become about money.
So I have a theory that there are people behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Who are those people?
So we would call them the elite or the cabal. We would call them the people who really have the power and the wealth.
When you say they, what does that mean?
Like, I would say the George Soros.
Who is that?
He's a businessman who grew up, I think, in Hungary or Bulgaria, and he's one of the wealthiest individuals.
And you just think he has a lot of influence?
On the planet. And I think that there's others with him.
What do you think he's trying to do? You think he's trying to do harm?
So I have a hunch, and again, I don't have the data to back this up, but I just finished reading a book called, it was called the Monster of Jekyll Island, The Creature from Jekyll Island. And it was when wealthy politicians and bankers got together in Jekyll Island and formed the Federal Reserve.
Yes, I know about that book.
Okay, so the Federal Reserve was meant as a good thing. Hey, if banks fail, then everyone's going to lose their wealth. So, we need to bail them out.
At midnight, they voted it.
They made it happen.
Right.
And so the U.S. taxpayer bails out the bank. And we think this is a good idea, except the bankers keep making risky loans, and they're getting wealthy beyond measure, and the taxpayer is the safety net, since we'll bail them out because of the Federal Reserve.
Here's
why do we
thing.
think that's happening?
Here's the thing I read here recently. Home ownership, okay? When you buy a home and you pay an interest rate, when you buy a home, who owns your home?
The bank.
The bank. How many years does it take to pay it off?
30 years.
How many times do you refinance it?
Right.
Right? How many times do you refinance it? So how long do you keep paying interest? So you buy a house that's $300,000, but you pay $300,000 in interest.
And we call debt slavery. It is slavery.
If the world would just go back to living like the Mexicans, or excuse my language, in Mexico, simple, playing soccer, and get back to the basics of life, you'd probably be happier.
They're not indebted or enslaved
Right.
to people who hold the power.
I've got
people who hold the
a
money.
few, and I must say this, Latin American friends. Is that probably the right way to say
Yeah,
it?
Latino,
Latinos, right.
Latinx.
So I just want to be correct, politically correct today. I want to be, make sure I'm not offending anyone. Well, and they pay cash for cars. They usually have cash, and they like to deal in cash. And it's not that they don't want to pay taxes. It's just they understand what's in their pocket is what they own. And then whatever they buy, they own. And if they can't pay for it, they don't buy it. It seems like the U.S. buys everything they can't afford.
Amen. And there's this principle called usury, U-S-U-R-Y,
Yeah.
and it's the cost of borrowing money.
Right.
Right? And in some faith traditions, it's anathema. You don't, in fact, I would never, if I was a Muslim person, I would never loan you money and then expect you to pay it back with interest. That would be against my religious beliefs.
And Muslim? Mm-hmm. And really?
Yeah.
That's a Muslim custom?
Yes.
Really? Where did you hear that?
Studying the Quran and reading from some of my friends who grew up over there in the
Really?
Middle East. Yeah.
So if you loan somebody from the Middle East money, and like a family member or whoever, they're not expected to pay it back?
They're expected to pay it back, but not with interest. That interest piece is where you're exerting power over
Right.
the other person. And so
Right.
the interest piece is the part that's not kosher in their rule book.
Wow.
And so,
I don't know much about it. I don't try to usually read multiple religions. I
Yeah.
kind of just live with my own heart and just kind of live with the foundation of just do good by everyone. And if you live good, have a positive attitude, and I live by the basic principles of if I don't want someone doing that to me, I'm not going to do it to them. That's just that simple. Like, if I
Exactly.
wouldn't want anybody to steal from me, I'm not going to steal from someone else. If I don't want anybody to abuse me, I don't want to abuse. I mean, it's like basic principles of life. It's like if you don't want someone to do it to you, don't do it to someone else. That's really just the underlying factors of how I try to live.
So we've talked about this global situation and the politics of this planet. And, I think it's so much bigger. I think we're just one small anthill in the jungles of the Amazon, and there's all these other planets with all these other situations. The new Webb telescope came online and showed us photographs of places in space we've never laid eyeballs on before. And I think as people start to recognize how much more vast the universes are than they've ever really conceived before, that the people who say to me, well, there's no life outside of this planet, I mean, think about that for one moment. If that's true, and there is no intelligent life outside of this planet, that's terrifying. But it's also terrifying if there is intelligent life outside of this
I'm
planet.
welcoming for it. I'm so for the aliens to come to the U.S. or fly their ship down and share how to heal cancer. Like I just went through a bunch of.
They already have.
I love it. Like if you could really inject like I have a similar belief to you, not 100%, but like who the hell built the pyramids, man? I mean, could we actually build the pyramids again today? Like today, with today's technology, I don't even think we would get to the accuracy that it was built. Someone intelligent life had to help them.
So I'm telling you for certain, Mike, intelligent life has been in touch with humans for a long, long time. The U.S.
I believe
government
that.
built Space Force. It wasn't new when President Trump announced Space Force. That has been around. It was just finally time to come clean because there was too many people caught up in the misdirection.
Do you think these other planetary and people are here to harm, or is there going to be different ones? It's almost like anybody. You've got the ones that want to harm, and then you've got the ones that are good.
Bingo. I think there's these astral punks out
Yep.
there, and then I think that there's a lot of in the middle, and
Right.
then there's some benevolent, really highly ascended that we
Right.
would call angels.
Yeah.
That we would call angels.
Here's the thing. I don't watch the news. I really don't, because it's all noise and it's all agenda based. I create the noise I want to create. Like the station I want to listen to is my station. I'm going to create it. I get in the car and I turn on my station. It's what I want to listen to. It's what I want to put in my body. It's what I want to absorb. And I feel like if I absorb all this information, like the sources and and think about the past of all the things these people are doing harm. If I'm doing as much good as I can during the day and as much good as I can during the week, I'm going to outgood his bad.
Amen.
And that's just how I feel. I feel like I'm not going to let him penetrate my brain, or when I say him, the powers that be or anyone. I'm not even going to give them a platform. I'm not even going to talk about them because to me, they don't exist.
Right.
Because my world exists with me. I'm going to wake up in the morning and you know what? I'm going to change someone else's life.
Yeah.
Someone else needs my help today.
So you're really living this principle of we create our own reality. And so Mike gets up with this mindset of making the world a better place, and that's what exactly happens.
Right.
And I think
and
that
I do every day. I've got guys that call me and they're like, bro, I just need to hear your voice. Like my brother, Boston Rob, called me this morning. He's like, man, I just need to talk to you this morning. I got off the phone call. We were laughing. We were joking. We were cutting up, talking about future investments, talking about seeing each other at the Christmas party. And he left and said, man, I'm going to have a fucking great day. And I said, you damn right you are. And then literally what took me 10 minutes to get into here to the podcast room is Chris Hardy, one of my best friends, calls me up. He's like, hey, bro, I sent you like 3 text messages. I need to know what your size is. And I was like, bro, you've known me forever. I'm extra large. You know this. We're meeting in Dallas to go to a drag race and then going to SEMA for the Vegas show. And he's over there texting me. And then he says, well, how's your day? And I said, man, I'm having a great day. I went to the gym this morning. I worked out. He goes, wow, man, you're, and then we got off the phone. He's super excited. And he's like, man, I can't wait to see you this weekend. We leave positive energy on, and he now absorbs my positive energy. And whoever gets on the phone call with me after me, I promise you that next phone call after he got off the phone with me is going to be a positive phone call.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that influence is incredible. And you have that. You radiate such a good aura, I say.
Well, thank you. You know, I've also noticed, like, I've got 2 daughters, and they're very opposite. And one of them is very type A, and one of them is very much a giver and quiet. Instead of having lots of friends at a surface level, has a few deep friends. And we've met people like
Sure.
that. And so I don't think it means that they don't have this positivity in them. They don't express it like us.
So you have a master's degree. And what is that in?
Communications,
which you're so good at. And you're an advertising background, worked in public
Advertising.
relations. And now you're doing fundraising for a company. And so when you reach out to get a fundraiser, or you're doing a fundraiser and you're looking for someone to donate money, what do you look for?
So what's unique is the nonprofit I work for is called APPARO, APPARO, and it's just a Latin word. It means to assist, to prepare, to make ready. And we're a nonprofit that cares for every other nonprofit in our community. If we're successful, they are serving more animals or more people or helping the homeless or the hungry. We serve all these nonprofits with their IT struggles.
Okay.
So we're raising money to make your favorite nonprofit, Big Brothers Big Sisters, or Humane Society, or you tell me what. We serve over 750 nonprofits in our community, and they get free IT, training, tools, guidance, implementations. Truly, we don't just say, here's what you really need to do. We help them do that thing.
You have a platform to help that nonprofit become more successful.
We do.
Like you do with businesses, like you were
Bingo.
doing with businesses, you now are doing with nonprofits.
Yes, always through the technology lens, because we could help them through, let's look in your books, or let's look at your insurance, or help them a million
Right.
ways. But we're always helping them through technology, and we can't do it by ourselves. We use a lot of skilled volunteers, people from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Truist Ally. Those technology people volunteer with us repeatedly because they feel, I think, great about that engagement. They're making such an impact in the community. Like, we could go paint fences for an hour on Saturday, or you could use your brain power to help a nonprofit figure out how to use Zoom more effectively, and suddenly your 1 hour of physical
Help
labor.
so many more.
Yeah, you using your brain power as opposed to your brawn power is exponentially impactful.
So who started the nonprofit?
So 20 years ago, APPARO was founded by a group of community leaders who met each other through American Leadership Forum. They were part of ALF. They took a class, and at the end of the 1-year class, they all said, what's our class project going to be? Let's start a nonprofit that we all care about. Well, Sandra likes the environment, and Susie likes Alzheimer's, and how do we help? How do we hit everyone's favorite cause? What if we built a nonprofit for nonprofits, and we utilized, what's the one thing they're all lacking? Well, none of them have an IT person. Let's be that to them. Let's help them shore up their their business processes through technology. So it was founded 20 years ago, and here we are today. We celebrate our 20-year anniversary next year.
How did they find you?
That was a great story. So I didn't think a nonprofit had any need for a salesperson because I didn't know a lot about nonprofits. And it turns out that if you were like you and I, always involved in, and to me, sales isn't a 4-letter word, right? It's a transaction. It's an education. Like if I was trying to sell you this table and you didn't need a table, then I would move on to Micah or Audrey, because we're in the business to connect people to things they need, not trick somebody into buying something they don't need. So nonprofits have a product, and that product is the way we feel when we make a difference in the world. And so Aparo has a fundraising model that brings revenue in from 3 sources: businesses, and then individuals. And the businesses can give money to us through Channel A, which is they care about the community. They've got corporate social responsibility dollars or a foundation, and they're already bookmarking these dollars to make a difference in the community where their employees live, work, and play. So we can apply for their grants. But there's also corporations who give us money through Channel B. And that channel is through their sales and marketing arm. And we found a very unique way at Aparo to reward them for spending their sales and marketing dollars with us. And here's what it is. We have technology leaders across the city on our board serving our nonprofit as volunteers, as community advocates, and we get them together at these parties, and these sponsors write checks to be in the room with them. And so they're like, I sell software, I make hardware, I do this, I do that. Can I meet with the CIO of Train or Novant, or can you get me in a room with? Sure, I can host a wine and cheese party, and the sponsorship fee is $5,000.
Listen, you can hold a party, and all the people that want access to Mike Burke, you now have access to me.
I love that, but truly, there's a way to turn an appointment with Mike Burke into a gift to your favorite nonprofit. And so you could tell the next guy who wants an appointment with you, make a donation to Aparo, and I'll give you 30 minutes on Zoom.
Give you 30 minutes on Zoom. Love it.
That's awesome. But the third way is individuals. And when individuals find out about Aparo, usually they find us through a friend of theirs, like a Mike today, inviting Adrienne to be on your podcast. Thank you.
Right.
They learn about Aparo, and then they try to see, where does this fit into my life? And I always tell my donors, there's going to be 3, maybe 4 of your favorite nonprofits. And I don't want to be your favorite. I want your church, your synagogue, your mosque. Let your spiritual relationship guide your heart to your favorite one. And then choose something secondary, like your kid's school or the band boosters, or, your grandmother passed away from Alzheimer's. Choose that one. But let Aparo at least be in the top 3. And the reason I want it to be in the top 3 is, 1, we're very efficient. So your dollars go further with us. We're effective. We've been around 20 years. Second reason is we're going to help the cause you care most about. So if you tell me that your big number 1 cause is mentorship for young people who just got out of prison, great, I'm going to pour into that nonprofit on behalf of you. And then third, we make your dollars go further through technology. So
you love doing this.
I love this job.
Oh, no, I see the big smile on your face.
I got lucky that the person who leads Aparo said, I believe there are transferable skills in what you've done for a lifetime, Adrienne. So you've never been a professional fundraiser, but you can sell sponsorships. You did that on the radio and television stations you work for.
It's relationships.
It's all relationships.
Yeah.
And so,
I have one with you now.
Amen.
I love it. I love it. So, all right, we're going to slow it down just a minute. We have a couple of glasses here on the table, and I've got a guest, Audrey, that is going to explain to us what we're about to sip and try. We have this bottle here. Here, look at this. Can you read this?
This is tremendous.
What is that?
Terranino?
Yeah.
Terranino. And this is from, okay, wait, is this the very first one in the row?
Yeah. So you're going to start with the glasses that are closest to the camera. And that's a traditional red wine liqueur that they make in northern Croatia.
We were talking about our trip in Croatia. And this is originated there. It was brought back from there.
So the Istrian Peninsula in northern Croatia has some hills. Some people call it Little Tuscany. It's the climate a lot like Tuscany, and they have truffles there, and they grow grapes, and they do a lot of the same kind of things that they do in Tuscany, just on a little bit smaller scale. It's not as big as the region of Tuscany, but these are 3 different liqueurs that we tasted there and bought there and brought back here. So you can't get these at the ABC store.
This was about 11-hour flight home.
I've heard such good things about Croatia.
It's really an awesome place.
What a treat
Let's
this
try
is.
What a unique flavor.
Wow.
What was this again?
It's a liqueur made from the wine that they make from the grapes that they grow there.
It's really good.
I really like this.
I do too.
I'm just checking this bottle out even closer.
I think that I've
wish
tried it before. It just tastes different now.
It's a
We tried it
liqueur.
when we were there.
It's really good.
I don't think you liked
Terrific.
it as much when we were there, but taste of vacation now at
Maybe
home.
I'm just thirsty.
This is tremendous. I mean, it's definitely got,
Isn't that good?
it's like a sweet wine. It's a liqueur,
Yeah.
kind of like a port maybe, but not as heavy. What would you compare it to?
You know, I would look at it like a grape cotton candy.
It is tremendous. Thank you.
Yeah, if you could take grape cotton candy and swirl it around into a liquid form, it's sweet, but it's got I don't know, it's a wine grape.
It doesn't have the bite of alcohol of it.
Does it have alcohol content to it?
Yeah.
Huh. It's not very strong though.
It's not very strong, but it's definitely stronger than just straight wine.
And it won the World Trophy for Best Spirits, the gold medal.
You had this in a cocktail over there too, one of the cocktails that was made tableside for you.
Yeah.
The dessert cocktail.
Yeah,
It's 18%.
it's
Yeah.
not bad. I mean, it's really good.
It's like a strong wine.
Yeah.
But
It did win the in 2021 World Trophy Best Spirit Gold.
yeah.
Yeah. These guys over there make some incredible wines.
I
What's
would
next?
say.
So what do we
So-
have next? Go ahead.
If you liked that, if you remember, the place where we tried and bought that was the place where we went truffle hunting.
Yes.
The next glass is a similar, it's not the same company, but it's a similar red wine liqueur.
Right.
Only this one actually is infused with white truffles.
White truffle. So explain to me again the difference between black and white. Black truffles can grow off of the spores of roots, right? And then the ones can be produced or can be duplicated. The white truffles cannot be
Yes.
duplicated.
So they both grow similarly underground, but the black ones grow up in the hills and the white ones grow closer to the water. And yeah, the white ones can't be cultivated. Nobody's figured out how to cultivate white truffles.
Right.
So they're more rare
But they're also about 10
and
times
they're
more
much
potent.
more expensive and more potent.
They're more potent. It's like if you're going to be, I had Cannabis King on here, right? And it's almost like the cannabis world, like the weed. I didn't know there was so many weeds, so many strains. And I mean, literally, it's a science of like science. And you have to have a PhD in cannabis.
Yeah.
Well, these truffle makers over there are like the PhDs of truffles.
And when a truffle is potent, what does it mean potent?
All right, so
The
let's
flavor is
smell this,
more-
right? Let's.
So you could
It's-
probably smell that truffle before you even picked up the glass,
Yeah,
right?
it's super
Yeah.
strong.
So the black truffles, when you dig it out of the ground, you can kind of smell it. If you put it under your nose, you can kind of smell it. But you gotta kind of peel it, cut it, cook it, and then it really releases its aroma. And the white one, you can smell it from a few feet away. So it's just a lot stronger.
We call that stank weed.
It depends. I like the smell.
It's okay.
They
I'm not
use
a,
pigs to go truffle hunting,
No,
right?
They
dogs.
use dogs.
Ah, so can they smell the black ones as well as the white ones?
Oh yeah, the dogs can smell it great. The difference
Yeah.
between pigs and dogs is you can train the dog not to eat the truffle when it digs it up.
It tastes a little different than it smells.
Yeah.
Like the smell, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I want to try this.
Right, right.
Like you look at it, my nose goes,
I'm going to be drinking mushroom juice.
I'll close my eyes and try it. And then all of a sudden you're like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's I think the
It
second
has a
taste
little
is
bit of a cinnamon flavor at the end.
It's definitely something that you have never tried before.
Yeah.
It is so unique.
It is truly,
One of a kind.
yeah.
Like I don't think you could buy this anywhere. Like this is
15.9%.
this is only produced in Croatia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's produced by the Karlic family that we went
Wow.
and visited.
Really
Awesome.
unique.
Are you gonna finish yours? I'm totally.
I don't know if I'm going to finish mine. I think I'm going to wash down with some water.
I'll finish yours.
I think it's delightful.
It's okay. It's not terrible. All right, so we have one more that we're going to try. And this is a
Oroncello.
here. My eyes aren't really good in here.
So you know what
Limoncello?
Limoncello is? Is this orangello?
Orange cello.
Orangello.
Orangello.
Exclusive brandies from Ora Family Distillery, and this one is going to be 30% alcohol content. So we'll taste the alcohol more.
Yeah, so that distillery Aura is right in the area where we did the truffle hunting.
Yeah.
This is a distillery that started in somebody's garage, and now they're pretty big. But they worked with that distillery to make a truffle infused gin that we did not buy,
Wow, this is really good.
and that was your favorite.
I mean, this has like an orange peel.
Yum.
I like it.
Now we want to watch some tennis match.
Some tennis. I almost feel like we need to take a little drop of sugar in there,
Yeah.
and then we'd have some orange lemonade.
all day long.
Wouldn't be any lemons, but it'd be orange-lade.
Now, would you use this in a cocktail that you would mix, or would you just always want it straight because it's such a fine?
I would use it in a cocktail.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd use any of those in a cocktail.
Yeah, orangello,
Great flavors, Audrey. Well chosen.
really good. So many countries you've been to, Adrienne?
I think maybe 10.
Really?
Not
What was
a
your most
ton.
unique one? Like if you were to go back and say this was the most unique experience of my life, where was it?
New Zealand.
Oh, really?
It's tremendous.
Can't wait to go there.
Think about Lord of the Rings
Oh.
being filmed there. They've got the beaches,
So
the
jealous
mountains,
already.
the lakes.
Man,
They did the bungee jumping for the first in the world. They
When did you
they
go?
invented bungee jumping.
they invented bungee jumping.
They did.
The New Zealanders.
Tie a rubber band on your ankles and let's
Yeah,
go.
Let's go jump off a cliff.
Yes, I went to bungee jumping at the very first commercial space in the world that they charge money and people go jump.
That's incredible.
And it was the Kawarau Bridge in Queenstown, New Zealand.
Wow, who was with you?
I was with a group of fellow backpackers and hikers. We had been traveling from the North Island down to the South Island, and my friend Sandra and I won this bet. We were like, who can get fastest from the North Island to the South Island without any transportation? You have to hitchhike your whole way down. And Sandra and I made a few calls before this challenge began, and we met some truckers, and they said, if you'll bring us some brownies or chocolate chip cookies, then you can ride with us from the North Island all the way down to there's a canal, and you take a ferry.
Micah, it only takes cookies, and you can get a ride from the North Island to the South Island, and make that in one of the notes of New Zealand.
It's in there right now.
But
so,
yeah,
do you bring the cookies or do you buy the cookies?
we baked them ourselves.
You baked them yourself?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
New Zealand? You
we
went
did.
and bought some.
So I was living there for college. I had gotten my undergraduate degree at University of South Carolina,
Yeah.
and then I got my master's degree at the University of Auckland in New Zealand. This is because of Rotary International, that global charitable organization. They really believe in sharing international experiences because it expands your heart and your mind so much.
Right.
And so they paid for my graduate program, and they said, all we care about, we don't care where you go or what you study, Adrienne, we really care about you giving speeches about life in the Carolinas to really explain that culture to people overseas. And then when you come back, we want you to go around North and South Carolina and give speeches about life in New Zealand and give people a flavor of
I've
what
had
it was.
New Zealand on my list for as long as I can remember. And if I was going to retire, it would probably be New Zealand.
Wow, and you've gone to a lot of places, Mike.
And I haven't been there yet, but this is the image of the creation of my brain. Like I have this image, it's like having the perfect woman or car in your brain before you bought it, before you have dated her. Like you have this image of this person or thing or in your mind of what you think it is.
Yeah.
And now after listening to you about New Zealand, I know that the picture I've painted is true.
You're going to be embraced by New Zealand. They love Americans. They love the outdoors, and they love the sporting life. And so surfing and,
Mountain biking is something I love.
bingo. You're going to do
I
tons of
used to
mountain
love
biking.
hiking until I lost a lot of feeling in my left foot. So I can't hike like I used to. But in college, I used to take guests on hiking tours. Like I used to do guides in college where these were not trails that were on the map.
Wow.
We would go find waterfalls and cliffs. Me and my buddies would just literally in college would drive down the road, see a mountain, and pull over and say, you know what? We're going to climb to the top of it. We're talking in the middle of the day, and I have a picture in my album book from Western Carolina where it was probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we took a picture, and it was pitch black dark because the trees were so like embedded. There was no light coming down, and we said, let's stop and take a picture. And we took a picture, and it was one of the disposable cameras, I guess, that you could go to Eckerd's and Walgreens now or whatever, and you could get duplicates 50% off. So we could get pictures developed for all of our friends. So we had the little roller Kodak cameras where they just go snap and and wind it up from the tape, and you pull the tape out, and then you didn't take the tape out. You just threw the camera in there. It was a disposable camera.
And picking them up was so fun because you're like, what did I capture?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. And now it's like you take your pictures, you edit it on your phone, you edit it again, and then you filter it again, and then you throw it out on the web and say, hey, look how gorgeous I am.
I'll share that. My daughter went to Mexico, and she said, Mom, we picked up disposable cameras. I'm like, why did you do that? Because we wanted to be in the moment.
Yes.
We wanted to snap the photo and forget about it. So we got to see our photos after.
I think that something would be very cool if today, like someone was planning a wedding, to throw disposable cameras on all the tables. So no one could edit the photo.
Right.
No one could change the photo. It's not digital format.
Right.
It gets printed, and everybody at the wedding gets the photos.
Yeah.
You understand?
I love that.
I think it would be really cool.
That's a great idea. Mike Burke wedding planning coming.
Yes. Yeah. Micah, our new venture is photography, and me. We'll together. We'll talk about the business model later. What do you think?
I went to a wedding this weekend. We shot some film.
Did you?
Yeah, it was instead of writing a note in the book, you would shoot a little film photo, print it out, and then you could just write your name in a short little note. Yeah.
Was it a Polaroid? It printed.
Polaroid. Yeah.
Very good.
Oh wow! So y'all were doing the
Yeah, it printed it out of the camera. They're sort of coming back though.
That is, they're getting
because
popular.
your generation is really focused, I hope, on living in the moment.
Yeah. That's
cool.
cool.
It's interesting how our phones are so good now, but it's almost like we're going back in time. Like film's definitely coming back.
We want to get the old stuff.
Did you do the Be Real app?
I do have Be Real. Yeah.
Do you know about this app?
It's a lot of fun.
So it's going to send you a text in the middle of the day at 3:32 p.m. and it's going to say snap a photo now and post it right now, and it makes people be real. You can't edit it and filter it and then post it. It's like, let's be real.
Be Real. And what is Be Real? It's an app?
Yeah, it's like Instagram, but
it's
you
called
said,
Be Real.
You'll get a notification at any point in the day.
And you have to take a picture.
You have 2 minutes to post a picture. So today I was just sitting at my laptop. So it's a selfie, and then it also takes a photo of whatever you're looking at too. So it was just a photo of.
And who sees it? Just anybody random?
Yeah, it's friends. So
it's like another platform.
Yeah, it's literally like Instagram, but you don't pose and smile. You just make a silly face, and whatever you're doing, that's why it's called Be Real. It's literally whatever you're doing in the very moment, and you can tell everybody you follow is just it's them at work or
I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think people do that, but that's the idea. Is you only have 2 minutes to do it. So
I gotcha.
Isn't that awesome though? Instead of having the pose life and this perfect life, and here's me with my hair perfect and my makeup perfect, just be real.
Be real. Love it. Do you have that?
I don't have the Be Real app.
I think I'm going to have to download it.
My daughters have it, though. I need to get it.
See, we're old. I'm 49. I'm about to turn 50. You're 50.
When is the 50th birthday?
It's February 12th.
Okay, so I need an invitation.
Okay.
I need a public.
Yeah. You're in.
Okay, Audrey.
You want to come?
You're documenting all this. I want to celebrate when
You should tell her that it's where it's happening.
So
this isn't a
it's going to be in
it's
going to be in Turks and Caicos.
I'm so in.
Okay. We're getting a house, a chef, and DJ, bar, and we're going to have full prepared meals, and we're going to have a boat, we're going to have a concierge, and it's going to be 4 days of just whatever you've ever wanted, and it's going to be a party nonstop. Alcohol is going to be involved, DJ is going to be involved, and a chef is going to be involved, and a boat.
You're doing it right, Mike.
Hell yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
You turned 50 once.
That is so fantastic.
Now my 60th, I'm going to have to get a specially engraved walker.
You're going to be jumping out of a helicopter
listen,
when you turn 60.
I want the hover walker, where you have the where you have a walker that's the Back to the Future skateboard that hovers up. Because in 10 years we're going to have that crap, right?
Of course.
We're going to be like drones. We're going to flying us around.
Our friends from the other planets are going to tell us about all this technology.
Please, will you introduce me to them when they get here? Okay.
Well, I want to host one of those CE5 experiences. is.
Listen, I am
farmhouse.
open for all experiences. I will keep
Yes.
an open mind to everything. And you being so excited about all of these experiences, what will make it fun for me. Regardless of whatever outcome happens, I'm going in open-minded, and I'm going in to support how excited you are. And I think that is really what people need to understand. When people want to influence you or go, hey, man, I want you to come over to my bar and have a drink, and be like, man, I like beer, man. I really like to drink. Yeah, but I'm so excited to make you my old fashioned. You need to come over and taste it, blah, blah. And if people would just taste or try or be open-minded to something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big beer drinker, but if Micah comes over to me and goes, hey, man, over in South End, man, one of my buddies just opened up a brewery. I mean, he's got some of the best beer, and it's incredible, and it's awesome, and I want to bring you over there, and I want to taste it. And I'll be like, dude, you're excited about this.
Yeah.
I want to share the excitement.
Yeah.
I want to be excited for you. I will go taste every beer there if that's what my friend wants from me.
Truthfully, too. And I think that's the open-minded concept that you embrace scares some people because they think it's going to take them away from their values. And I know without a doubt it wouldn't take you away from your
Not at
values.
all.
And so when my parents were made aware that I was really interested in aliens, my father's a deacon in his church,
Sure.
and he's like, how does this, where does it talk about aliens in the Bible? And
Yeah.
I said, Dad, think about this. God is so much bigger than we even knew when I was growing up. Like he's over all of this, way more than just planet Earth in this universe. Like, Mike, he's over all of this.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm open to go to every country in the world and go to every type of religion there is. Like, I want to go to, Tibet?
And the Buddhist temples.
I want to go there.
Let's
I don't
do
know
it,
why,
yes.
but I want to go there. I want to spend the little things, and I want to go there and feel the love, feel the
Yeah.
experience. Then I want to, here's the thing. I know that there's a bad aura for the United States over Muslims. Okay,
Right,
there
right.
is. There's just a bad aura over it. Like, if you say you're Muslim, Americans look at it like, oh, you're Muslim.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what that means to me. I really don't understand what Muslims are. I don't have enough information to have an opinion. Okay, so if somebody says he's Muslim, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
like whatever, dude. Like, guy goes, man, I'm here, I'm Buddhist. I'm like, I don't know enough about what you are telling me to have an opinion.
Right.
I don't know enough.
Right.
Like, if someone says, man, I'm a devoted Christian, Catholic, this and that and the other, I'm like, great. I don't have enough information to say yes or no. So I don't have an opinion. If this
Yeah.
is what excites you and this is what you want to do and this is the path you want to go down, dude, give me a hug.
Yeah.
We can love it out. Let's go.
And I love that you're open-minded to even try all the flavors of the rainbow, because I don't think that you have to become Buddhist or become Muslim. Like, I'm always going to be a Christian. I was
Right.
born and raised that way. It
Right.
just feels like home to me.
Absolutely.
But I truthfully think that our God is so big, there's all these amazing pathways to find that sacred experience.
Well, I had an opinion of the Chinese people before I went to China.
Hmm.
And when I got home, my opinion was totally bunks. I was like, you know what? These people are awesome. These people are amazing. They're so full of life. They're so giving. They're so loving. They're partied. I went to the dance clubs. I had good food. I don't see anything wrong with them.
Right.
Like, nothing.
Right.
Other than they drive a lot of scooters.
It's love their scooters.
They love their damn scooters, man. Now, when you go to other countries, it will take you a few minutes, but it will change your opinion, because when you become Americanized, you only are feeding yourself one thought process. You're only
Yeah.
getting one side of the equation. And I was just having this conversation this morning with my graphic designer, Rick, and we were talking about Tesla. We just acquired a Tesla for the company. And he was telling me, oh man, I'd love to get an electric car, but I'm not a real big fan of Elon Musk. And I go, okay, fair enough. I said, but here's the thing. You're letting your opinion of one person change your opinion of the technology that was created, okay? And he's a Droid guy. Like, he likes Google, he likes Droid, Microsoft, and all that stuff. And I'm an Apple guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, man, I just wish you had iMessage, because when I'm on a plane, I'm trying to message you, and I got to wait till I land because you can't text
Come
me when I'm
on,
on the plane.
Rick.
Come on, Rick. And so I said, man, it's like Apple was the innovator that came in and changed everything. Well, Tesla came in and changed everything. So I consider Tesla the Apple of the electric car community. It's like a cult, even though Apple's kind of a cult. I'm not saying cult in a bad way. I'm just saying it's a group of people who are like-minded who think Apple's special.
Yeah.
Well, everyone that thinks Tesla, they think Tesla's special. Everyone else that's going to come to the market with electric cars are going to be second, third, fourth, fifth to Tesla. They're all going to be. And that's how I feel about Apple when it comes to the phone and the MacBook and the iPad. Who was the first to come out with an iPad? Apple. Okay?
Right.
Who was the first to come out with the technology for electric car? Tesla. He goes, man, I want to get an electric car, but I'm waiting. What are you waiting for, Google to make one? Come
Exactly.
on. Right.
Well, the fact that you've really shared with the world how much your international travel has impacted your worldview and your life view and the way that you do the things, raise kids and run a business and those things. Imagine our grandkids, they won't be visiting other countries.
They'll be visiting other stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that now there was a planet that was bigger than Earth that I just saw the picture. I think it was on Facebook or Instagram, and I went down this little rabbit hole, and then a telescope took a picture of it, and it's 1.38 light years away. Okay, 1.1 or 1.3 light years away. And then in one of the comments it said, we could see it in 38 years.
Ah.
It would take 38 years.
The light to travel here.
Yeah. So it's crazy to think how far that is.
Well, we also won't travel A to Z like we think about it. I really think that principle of a wrinkle in time is accurate, where, here's the planet we want to go to, and here's Earth, and then you fold it. I think that when we think about linear distance, it seems like, well, of course we couldn't travel to something 80,000 light years away, but I think we're thinking about it in 3D terms, and we need to evolve to 4D,
How infinite do you think the solar system
5D.
is?
I mean,
I think it's infinite.
I can't get my brain around it, and I try a lot.
I think it's infinite.
Yeah.
I think it just keeps going and going and going. I don't think there's an
Forever.
ending. I think it just keeps going.
And our human brains and our 3D brains can't conceive of that.
I can think of that all day long.
I believe it.
I literally, you ever seen Star Wars where, what 3D brains? So when you think of like Star Trek and they are about to go into hyperspeed or hyper warp speed or something,
Yeah, they call
where they
it.
jump, whatever, and you see like the lights just, and the ship just goes and launches. That's how far the solar system is. It's just, when I see those lights, it's like it's just infinite.
Right.
It just keeps going and going and going and going. We were at the land at our farmhouse this past weekend because it's pitch black dark out there, and we're out by the fire pit. And the guest that I had from Boston and Connecticut, and one of our friends here in Charlotte, how bright the stars were. Like you could literally, they were all like, it was like midnight, and they were all drinking, and they were all like just staring at the stars. And they were just like, man, there's the Big Dipper. There's look at that one. Look, there's a flying. And it was funny because as they started looking, they started seeing things move. And then they're like, oh, that's a shooting star. Oh, no, that's a meteor. Now that's next thing you know, their brains started going into, what if? What is that? What is this? What is that?
Yeah.
How many people just at night can leave their TV, walk outside, lay in the backyard, and just look up? Just look up.
Yeah.
Now your brain is watching a new television station, and it's called The Universe.
Yes. I
Just
love
watch
that. Well, plus, how many different times did you guys see like a what are those things that orbit the Earth? Everyone's got
The
one.
satellites.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they're
so
everywhere. They're
many
everywhere.
It's getting littered.
It's
right?
so littered up there. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't go back to the moon.
Have we not?
I don't know. Have we?
I think that there's stuff on the dark side of the moon, the side we
think
can't
so?
see, that
Really?
might be like settlements.
I don't know.
I want to do some archaeology up there,
Let's
Mike.
do it. Let's go. You think there's any like gold or silver and type of minerals up there, you think? Because if there was real value, I mean, think about that. Who owns the mineral rights to the moon?
Well, nobody owned this continent, right? The native indigenous people were here,
Right.
and then Spain said, well, I'm claiming it for our country, and the King of England, I'm claiming it for our country. Like, nobody really. So I think we should claim the moon.
Yeah, let's go.
It's
I'm ready.
mine.
Let's go. Let's call Elon. Hey, bro, we need a ship. We got to get there.
It's a land grab. We need a little.
SpaceX. You think he's already done something like that? You think he's planning on going to the moon?
I wonder. I mean, he really wants to commercialize, make commercial opportunities for people like you and me to be able to go, because it shouldn't be just in the power of our government. And here's one other thing I think we should go public about. If we were being contacted today, I think we've been contacted already, but by intelligent life on other planets, would we want our politicians and military to be the ones who speak for us?
We don't want them negotiating.
Hell no. We want to be the ones.
I agree with that.
So that's why we need to host these CE5 experiences.
Well, let's try it. Have you got anything on the YouTube, or is there anything that people can watch?
If they Google CE5, which stands for Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind,
Right.
they'll see a lot about the local group in Charlotte
Right.
of those who are organizing CE5 experiences. And I don't have any on the calendar right now, but maybe
Do
your
you watch
farmhouse.
Ancient Aliens?
I do.
Really? What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely.
Some of the things are really cool. Like, even though it's not that I'll believe or not believe, but some of the things that they bring up are very not controversial, but they're topics
Compelling.
of discussion.
So have you noticed the History Channel has gone more and more to the aliens?
It really has.
It's getting the ratings. I think that they're grooming Americans to be really comfortable with this idea, so we don't feel the fear and we don't feel the distress. But here's what I think will happen in the next 10 or 20 years. You will be told about a massive attack on Earth. And the powers that be will point to, aliens are invading. We need to come together as a humanity and protect ourselves. And we need you to fund the military and fund the government like never before to protect ourselves, when in fact it's a false flag operation. It's our own people making the attack on planet Earth, to put fear in our hearts. And then they'll have everybody sort of obeying, like, hey, we need you to stay inside. We need you to wear these little masks. We need you to wear these tinfoil hats. Like, whatever they tell us to do, we'll be frightened to death.
We just realized that through COVID. We just realized that. We will do whatever the government tells you to do, because they just said, there's this massive disease that's killing people all over the world that you can't see, that's worse than the flu, but the flu came out, the bird flu came out, this came out. I'm not saying COVID wasn't real. I'm not saying it didn't have an effect. But look at the history of every disease from the beginning of time to now. Our bodies build up immunities for everything. And if we ate right and we slept right and we went to the gym and we put good nutrients into our body and we thought good processes, and if we felt a cold coming on, we would drink lots of water and stay hydrated.
Vitamin C.
We could fight these diseases a lot more. Now, the older generation is definitely going to probably feel the effects because their immunity is a little bit weaker. The kids, you notice that COVID didn't really bother the kids that much. Did you notice that?
My kids have both had it twice.
I had it, and I thought I would have gone to work both times. I may have had like a cold. And I'm sitting here going, we shut the country down and gave all this money away and researched. And we have now the vaccines, and we now have the boosters, and we now have all this stuff. And I'm not saying it's not good. It is good. I'm saying that what we did was probably good. But the amount of wealth that was created over this 2.5 year span is separated the gap so big. There was so much money printed that now we're fighting inflation. Now interest rates are going up. And now we're going to see the punishment of what we just went through.
Right.
And the thing is, the government approved all these bailouts. Did the public really approve them? No, the government's just said, hey, we're going to do this for you. We're going to make your life easy. And now all of a sudden, go home, don't go to work. Here's your free money.
Yeah, stay indoors.
Stay indoors.
Don't talk to each.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't say don't talk to each other.
Social distancing. Literally. It's just crazy.
It's a perfect way to disempower a people if you wanted to have the globe enslaved.
Yeah.
Put them in fear. Put them in a place.
And that's what I'm just basically going down the point is that we created a fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going down a religion path because I don't want to offend anybody with their religion. But there's a fear of going to hell.
Exactly.
There's a fear, right? Everyone has this fear. Oh my God, I don't want to go to hell, right? So there's a fear of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody's been there that's ever given me the roadmap of hell. But we've painted this awful picture of hell.
And you have to be obedient. Well, who am I obedient to? I believe we agree that, trust your heart on who to be obedient to. But they would tell you, no, you're elected leaders. You must be obedient.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the world's, that's why pay attention to that.
I agree.
I really don't pay attention to
I
it.
know.
So many people are sitting there going, well, I literally was having a discussion with somebody here recently that was talking about how bad Biden is and how bad the government is. And I was like, bro, I can't change what happened. I can't change who the president of the United States is. I can't change it. My personal views, my personal beliefs, me getting drunk at night, yelling and screaming and getting angry at my friends and talking and having discussion. What positive effect is that going to have? Like, it's already happened. Gas prices are what they are. Okay? Then don't go out to eat 4 nights a week. Go out to eat once a week and have a better meal and save your money for your gas. If you're going to complain about gas prices, make some small changes in your life.
Yeah.
Because how many people buy a $5 cup of coffee every day?
Every day.
Every day, right? I mean, McDonald's is 99 cents. It's still good coffee. Dunkin' Donuts is $1. But you want to go have that $5 that cup. I don't know what they put in those cups, but man, I tell you, it's credible. I'm not going to lie. I like my Starbucks coffees too, but I've limited myself to like 2 a week now instead of every day.
Right. Well, we know there's things that are going to be abrasive in our lives that we aren't going to like. And so you can kind of accept what is, and there you go. Or you can bristle against it, and it makes the suffering so much greater.
Right.
So just accepting what is, living
Hey,
in the
Micah,
moment.
quick question.
Yes, sir.
You think there's aliens on other planets?
Do I think aliens exist?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
Do you? I mean, the other planets, though. Like, do you think there's another planet out there in the solar system that has a life on it? Like, another planet that has water, that has...
But way beyond the solar system.
Way
Michael.
beyond. Like,
way into those millions of gazillions
I
of other solar
I
systems.
just recently saw online for the new telescopes that they have found a planet that looks identical to Earth, but it's twice the size of Earth. Water, everything's on it. The pictures, it looks identical to Earth, and they found it in the solar system. They have a picture of it. It's on the web. You can search it. It's a little bigger, and it searches a star. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I saw some of those photos too.
Did you?
Yeah, I think there could possibly be some kind of life, but I don't think there's human life. Maybe water.
Yeah. I
Or
don't think there's-
intelligences, though, like
Well, yeah.
Like
the word intelligence. Do you
squid,
think,
like a whole group of squid who are
you think
intelligent.
some fish? You think fish are intelligent?
No, I think fish have gotten caught twice. I mean, I don't think they're that smart. I think there's some kind of life out there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's human though.
I don't think it's human life. It's some other type of life.
Yeah, I mean they found water on Mars, right?
Pleiadian, Arcturian.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah. You've done a lot of
races.
research on this, haven't you?
Yeah, that's where I got the blueprint to make
I
that
love it. Yeah.
Pleiadian technology.
That's super cool. So what's next for the fundraising? What's next? Do you have a new big party fundraiser coming up for Christmas, or do you have anything?
So Aparo is going to be doing for, they call it Giving Tuesday.
Okay.
And it's a holiday that was invented right around Thanksgiving. So if you're grateful for what you have and you feel like you've been blessed and you want to bless our city,
Right.
then we would invite you to join Aparo's monthly giving society. And in November, we'll be doing a lot of publicity about joining PLS. It stands for Philanthropic Leadership Society.
Right.
And so, my daughters are both college kids at NC State. Go Pack. And they belong to something it's $25 a month. And so anybody in the city could join for $25 a month, know they're making a big difference.
Right.
And in a nonprofit like Aparo, and that's what
So
we're
do you have
promoting.
parties or fundraisers that where you do an event where you get like a networking event? Like you said, you can have access to someone in the room. Like if I wanted to donate and have access to someone who is like a CEO of a company and I want to meet him or something.
Yeah, so when people are part of PLS, we connect them to one another, and a lot of our CIOs are part of PLS. Now, whether they show up to the parties or not, I can't control, but there's definitely a piece of joining our monthly giving society that really involves enhancing your life, and it involves enhancing it through the connection that we're going to give you so you grow your network personally and professionally. It's going to enhance it through the impact that you're making in the community. It's going to enhance your ability to build, I guess, what I would call your own personal brand. So we're going to give you opportunities to blog for us and to be an advocate for us in the community and educate.
Gonna go backwards just a little bit. When you were a consultant to small businesses and they didn't have advertising budgets and you were doing consulting, if you were to go help a small business today, like in my world of the window tinting Sunstoppers, we do consulting for small window tinting shops, and we're building a brand called Tint Rescue, and we're going to start rescuing shops that are not performing at an optimal level. They're underperforming their market, or they're underperforming their expectations of what they thought they could get from the business. And a lot of times the business owners are the biggest obstacle. They're the ones that need to get out of the way a little bit and become leaders and become coaches. What do you think that you could do for a small business today with all of your knowledge?
Mm-hmm. One of the first things I always look at is, can we transition them from a B2C business to a B2B business? And so what I would think of that in the world of tint is, instead of saying, okay, I got Ricky and Johnny and Larry and they're all coming in this week, great, I got 3 new customers. What if Ricky owned a car dealership and Johnny had a fleet of vehicles for his, maybe he needs a fleet because he's got, what would you need a fleet of vehicles for? A delivery service, a courier
delivery
service.
Courier service. If you were trained and you had, delivery drivers for like heating and air conditioning companies, you had a fleet of vehicles that you change out every time.
Exactly. I would go for customers that had many vehicles, so they could bring me 12 or 20 or 100 cars versus one, because getting that yes is challenging, but so is it for getting that yes from Larry, who just has one car.
Right.
And so I would encourage them to become a B2B business as opposed to a B2C. That's one of the easiest first transitions.
One thing that I heard from a guy that's in our work, and he says this a lot, and I'm just going to repeat it. It's called the chicken and the egg. If you have the chicken that lays lots of eggs, you're constantly eating. If you're just buying the egg, you eat once.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the chicken that keeps laying the eggs.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying. Go find the chicken.
Yeah.
Don't go find the egg.
Right.
Right?
Right. I would say that's a good analogy.
We need more chickens.
Yeah, he's a smart man.
Yeah, exactly. His name's Harry. He says this all the time. He's like, you got to be a chicken or you're going to be an egg. And I'm mimicking him, but he's super brilliant. He's a smart guy. He's very intelligent, and he says the story to me, and I literally didn't really comprehend it that well until like an hour later. I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, we want more chickens.
Plus, I think of that story of the golden goose. Do you remember the farmer who had a golden goose, and he got a golden egg, and he got another one the next day and another one the next day, and then he got jealous. He got not jealous, but he got greedy, and he's like, I want 20 golden eggs. I'm going to cut open the chicken to get them all. And there was no golden eggs inside.
Wow.
And the principle of that story is like, take care of the golden goose so that they'll keep laying those golden eggs, and you in your business are the golden goose. And so taking care of yourself through the nutrition and through good sleep and through good, intellectual stimulation, all that jazz. You can't lay those golden eggs unless you are well cared for.
But if you were helping a small business today that you were going to consult, and what did you see when you did a lot of consulting? You said they didn't have a lot of advertising budget. So what things did you try to do? Just let them get the ideas of go build the more B2B businesses and say, hey, go get more relationships. Like if you were giving advice today to someone that owns a small business, give me like 1, 2, 3 of some good advice.
Yeah. So when you think of that B2B versus B2C principle, how can that play out in different worlds? Like I worked with a flooring company, and so he would have a homeowner and he would work with them on flooring. And I said, what if we started to appeal to all the interior designers? Let's have a quarterly meetup for interior designers to come in your showroom and have a wine and cheese party. They get to meet one another. Maybe you'll have Adrienne give a little presentation about how to utilize social media better for interior designers. Let's build a community for interior designers and base it here at your showroom. And therefore, when you win the business of somebody like a Nancy, who's a established interior designer, she's bringing you 20 or 40 flooring contracts each year as opposed to one, you know? And so I would do that in any business, where are the people who have multiple cars? And then the 1, 2, and 3, I mean, a lot is what you talk about with mindset, getting their mindset right. And that's a daily exercise that they can do by listening to the right podcasts. They can do it by reading the right books, the Audible stuff.
Yeah, Audible, sitting down and flipping pages and reading books is not my forte.
Right.
But an audio book, like on the plane when you're traveling, throw an audio book on, and listen for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. But podcasts, I try to listen to a few podcasts on when I'm traveling on the plane. I'm sitting there for hours doing nothing, and I'm just chilling. And I could go tune out and watch a movie, or I could put some good education into my brain that can go inspire me to go help more people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
More people need to think like that.
And, I think if they also were very sincere and intentional about choosing good mentors.
Right.
So I might say step 1 is education every day for your mindset. Step
Right.
2 is doing the B2B versus B2C thing. And then 3, seek out and employ and be intentional about choosing good mentors.
What I'm seeing in the window tinting world, I'm seeing mentors that are stepping out to try to mentor others that should not necessarily be the mentors. Okay? I consider them influencers that are now trying to step into a mentorship role. If you haven't owned and operated a window tinting, paint protection, ceramic coating, and flat glass window tinting shop for multiple years, and hired multiple people and become successful and had multiple locations. And the reason I say multiple locations is because anyone can luck into success once. You can't luck into success 3, 4, 5 times. You can't. You can't luck into success. You got to duplicate success. And once you've been successful once and then opened up a second location and a third location and a fourth location, and all of those locations are still successful today, then now you have a process and a roadmap of success. And now you can now mentor others on that same process of how you got there.
Right.
Right? And what I'm seeing is people jumping to mentor others because it's a popularity contest, or it's a what I call insta famous,
Yeah.
or it's an addiction like heroin. The likes and the posts and the interactions become heroinist, like you're addicted to heroin.
I see.
And so we've read, or not we, but I have read in multiple platforms, the power of a like or a comment on Facebook or Instagram. The power that has over your endorphins in your brain, it's higher than sex, it's higher than alcohol, it's higher than cocaine, and it's higher than marijuana. It's heroin, which is the most addicting product on the planet, from what I understand. And it does the most damage to your brain and to your body. Heroin. That is what I am seeing. There's a certain group of people that have just become addicted to this. I'm wanting to tune it off. I'm wanting to get a little bit, back off it, but I use it for my business as a platform to get my name out there and showcase what our company does. And we have to have social media for the right reasons. And so go into that point.
So once the person becomes Insta famous, how are they able to pick up clients? Like, are those clients, it'd be like, I wouldn't want to hire an attorney right out of law school.
Yeah, but if this attorney was talked good, looked good, and here's what I'm seeing, that they're vouched. Okay, you know what vouching, like if you're in the mob and you come in, it's like you watch a mob movie, right? And you come in and the guy goes, hey, he's one of us, right? Like if I come in and I walk in, I have my arm on you, and I walk into Sunstoppers and I have all my company guys there, and I said, hey, this is Adrienne, she's one of us. I'm vouching for you.
Yeah, but we both know, because we are 50 or almost 50,
Right.
that experience really counts for something. I thought I knew all the answers at age 24 too. I thought I knew
Right.
all the answers. But once you live life, you realize how little you knew.
I think there's a lot of business owners who are lonely. I think they sit around and are lonely. And the ones that create the most noise are now a TV station that's attractive to people who don't really live in the limelight, but they want a little bit of the limelight. So they use the built platform of someone, like this someone that just steps out there and becomes what I consider popular.
Yeah.
Okay. Popular can mean just well noticed. People just know who you are, right?
Yeah.
You're just out there, right? So a lot of people want to gravitate to who's popular to help increase their own popularity. That's how I see it.
Well, if their objective is popularity, it doesn't equal dollars in the cash register.
Well, the thing is, when you pay someone for a seminar or you pay someone for their time, make sure that what you're getting is of the value. Like
Right.
my son, I'm going to revert back into another topic, which is college. My son is 18. He's graduated high school, and he's said he, for a couple of years, he didn't really give a shit about college, right? So all of a sudden, he's now going to a local community college, and he's taking 5 classes, business classes and marketing classes and accounting classes. And he did this all on his own. And he said, Dad, I know that you have built Sunstoppers, and I know that I'm involved in Sunstoppers, but I'm never going to know how to run this company or be involved in my own company unless I get the foundation of what I need to know knowledge-wise, or I'm never going to be respected for not having the same education that you do. And I have a college degree. So my son took it upon himself, even though he's not the smartest kid in school. When I say smartest kid in school, he's not the book smart kid.
Right.
He's the street smart kid. So the book smarts are a lot of guys that are just real retaining of knowledge. They can read it, they can absorb it, they can put it back on a test. Okay. My son can live it.
Yeah.
And now he's learning on his own how to, business management. He's doing business law. He's doing accounting. And he came to me the other day. He goes, Dad, I really like accounting. Because I had told him years ago, if you can communicate with people, you can have confidence, and you're good at what you do, and you can manage your money, you will be successful. And I said, money management at a young age is what these kids need to learn.
Right.
Money management. Like balancing a checkbook. I remember my mom going to the grocery store at Food Lion when I was young, writing checks. And she would write there in the little register, 29, 37, and she would do the math and carry it down. And I was learning this when I was 10, right? I was watching my mom right there in the register. My dad would have spreadsheets of a budget of this, how much the house is, this vacation. He would say, oh, son, we can only do one vacation this year, and we have a budget of $1,200. And I'm like, okay, well, that means we go to Ocean Isle Beach. We share the house with our neighbors, because we used to do that. We used to go down to Ocean Isle Beach, and our neighbors, the Allisons, would share the house with my parents, and their family and our family would go down, and we would all bring friends, and we'd all sleep on the couches or wherever the hell it was, and they'd play cards and checkers and Monopoly and ride our bikes all up and down. But that's how you could afford a really good vacation, is you almost had to bring another family to do it. And they were on a budget. I don't think many people live on a budget today.
Well, and they will become enslaved by that,
But it was really awesome for my son to take it to that level and get his pilot's license and look at college as the education. But he's doing it all on his own to try to go and become a better him for the future.
Yeah.
And that's really where I think college is missing the mark. It's like, we've got to go back and teach these kids what they need to know to be successful, and give it to them at a price that they can afford. And honestly, going back a little bit further, research your professor. And this is the point I was getting back to that I got off track a little bit, but I'm getting back on track. I wanted my son to research who his professors were. What accomplishments have they accomplished? Who are they? How old are they? What's their resume look like? Who is influencing you and who is teaching you? Okay? And if you're going to be a college professor, you better damn well have a resume, because I want to see it. I want to know what you've accomplished, who you are, what you've done. If you're going to go teach me how to be successful in this world and how to teach me marketing, but you've never ran a marketing company, you've never been involved, but you're teaching me marketing? I think that's what a lot of people out there that want to be influencers or mentors or coaches, you better get the resume out, because I'm going to research you.
Yeah. But you're a unique shopper, and I think a lot of our peers do not do their research. They go for the glitz and the glam, and
Right.
they're the most likes on Instagram. Okay, that's my new coach.
Yeah.
And so we can't make them be more discerning shoppers.
Right.
But that's not the kind of client we want anyway. We
Yeah.
we both know if they're not even doing a good job picking who they emulate.
Yeah. If you're going to have a mentor or coach, research who your mentor and coach is. What accomplishments have they done? And are you wanting to be like them? Or you want to be what they have accomplished? And have they really accomplished what you want? Like, if you've got a leader or a mentor and they're funny, they're outgoing, they're popular, but they're not aligned with your ethics, or they're not aligned with your morals or your values. Like, I have a certain moral and values. I don't put money first. I don't put money first. And that's one of my pet peeves, that when I see other people that put money first, if you tell me, oh, come to my seminar and I'm the best, I'm not saying Grant Cardone, I'm not saying some of the big, power players out there, but if they're putting the price of their show up front. Like, this is how much it costs to come. It takes away from the value of what the show is really supposed to be about, which is education, which is actually learning and mentoring. And it's like they put the money first.
Yeah.
I understand things cost money, but these, like when you see guys that write books and they're speakers and they're making more money off the book deal than they ever did in the real world.
Right.
You know, one of the pastors at Elevation Church, we tinted some windows for the guy. I don't know him. I just, he kind of has his own personality. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not here to offend anybody about Elevation Church or Steve or whatever. But we tinted his house and we tinted some buildings at Elevation Church. And I come to find out that he's made a lot of his money off his books and his things, his CDs and all this kind of stuff. So when you see the $1 million houses and you see the nice cars and you see the nice things that he owns, it wasn't donated 100% by the church. He made it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have a perspective of, oh, look at this dude. The church is paying this guy all this money, blah, blah, blah. No. He made all of his money through his audience selling them his books and stories and CDs and stuff like that. It's almost like the musicians make the music, but they don't really make money until they go on tour.
Yeah. Buy the tickets and all that.
You see guys, yeah, go ahead.
About the professors thing, I think we would both be disappointed if we started to look at the pedigree of most professors at most colleges because they've been in the ivory tower, they've been in the world of education so long, and they haven't actually done the things that they're teaching about.
Yeah, I think that's the government.
And then think about this, if kids are going to those traditional universities and coming out with that, just starting life with that much of a burden of debt around their necks.
Well, I mean, Biden says he's going to now tell everybody they got free college. Now who's paying for that? But you can't give away everything for free. Right. You just can't, okay? But if they could turn around and like the Khan Academy, like you know what Khan Academy is, right?
Khan.
Yeah, it's badass, man. You can go learn. Harvard professors have classes on Khan Academy.
Yep.
If people now over COVID know that you can go home and learn and not go to a university, I think 10 years from now, universities are going to be like.
I tried to talk my girls into doing what I called alternative college.
Right.
And instead of 4 years, I was like, let's do this. And there's colleges right now that aren't credentialed and certified, but hey, we're going to spend 1 month in Nepal, and then we're going to go spend 1 month in Argentina, and 1 month in Croatia, and 1 month. And these cohorts of kids go around the world and they learn about life, about business, about, if it's architecture, that's what they're studying. And to me, that would be more fulfilling. My kids wanted the traditional college experience. We want the football games and the sororities, and that's fine. I just think that degree is going to be less and less important as time goes forward. And
Absolutely.
I would rather hire someone who'd been around the world.
Now, here's the thing. We were in Stan, which is in Croatia, where, from what I understand, all of the emperors and kings and queens got all of their oysters because of the way that the mountains' water came and infiltrated this little cove of sea salt. So the salt and the fresh water and the way the algae and the way, it mutated, I guess, to make these amazing world-renowned oysters. The guy that was out there on the boat, we tasted oysters straight from the boat, straight from these gardens. And they literally plucked them and we ate them right there on the boat. And he is a generation of multiple families and generations that have what's called a farm in this area. That's basically a certain amount of farm area left in this area that is passed down. And he has no one to give it to. No one wants it. He can't train anyone. None of the family wants to carry on the tradition. So he's got this 75-year-old man. He's probably in his 60s. Or late 50s, maybe 60s, that was running it. And he does tours back and forth from Dubrovnik straight to Stan to do oyster tastings on this little boat. And he does it 2 or 3 times a day. And that's how he supports his family and raises oysters. And to think 10, 15, 20 years from now, we might not have that. Okay? The world's best oysters in the world are in this area. And we're losing that. And that's what, if you think about it, if we could get someone to travel to come there and learn from him the knowledge that he could teach you about oysters. He sells them at certain markets in certain areas, and he looks like he's probably pretty damn wealthy, to be honest.
So the youth in his family and none of the youth from his community want to
carry on. They
carry
want to
on.
leave and go get on Instagram and go on Facebook and go drive Ferraris and, go drink wine at the bar and go live a lifestyle that is sometimes unattainable.
Yeah.
Because the hard work lifestyle, the hard brunt labor. But the thing is, if you take a younger generation that comes in and takes this 30, 40-year-old guy that's been doing this for 30, 40 years, and you bring a new mentality to it, or a new to market mentality, and say,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to expedite this, and we're going to grow this farm, and we're going to get more workers over here because we're maxed out on capacity. We can't grow enough because we don't have enough workers, or we don't have enough people planning them, and come in and bring a business mindset more than what he's already done.
Mm-hmm.
He's only taken it to level 1, right? The next generation should take it to level 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we're missing, is like, these people think it's hard work. It's too hard to work. And I don't want to be the laborer. That's fine. You be the brain, be the smarts behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But could either of us talk our kids into going?
Not at all.
So I don't, I empathize with this
Not at all.
challenge,
Not at
right?
all. But I've met people in China that would go.
Yeah.
I met people in Guadalajara, Mexico that
In
would
Mexico,
go.
yeah.
They would go tomorrow, but they can't get out of the country.
Uh-huh.
That's the real big problem.
Mm-hmm.
The people who want these jobs, the people that want to work, can't travel because the governments give them such handcuffs and such, they're locking them down.
Mm-hmm.
Every country should have an easy way to go get a 60-day work visa or something. And then if I employ people. If I got 10 people from, Latin America that want to come to the United States and learn window tinting and want to own shops, right? And I could go sponsor that person, like adopt them, like
Right.
a sponsor, right? And say, I'm going to house them, I'm going to educate them, and I'm going to put them in my workforce. And they owe me 5 years of their life
Yeah.
for this education and for me to sponsor them. But I'm going to pay for their visa, I'm going to pay their taxes, they're going to get on payroll, and they're going to be exactly the way they should have come into the country. That process should be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It should be easy. I should go down and fill out a paper and a form and say, hey, here's my taxes, here's my thing, here's the person.
I'd like to recruit.
I'd like to recruit this guy. His name's Philando. He's from Guadalajara. I
Yep.
vouch for him. I vouch for him.
Yeah.
So it's basically I'm vouching for this guy.
Right.
He's in the country on me. And if he screws up, it's on me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So there's really wonderful programs right now where you could help people who are formerly incarcerated, who want to learn a trade,
Right.
who nobody will give them a chance.
Then we need to open those doors.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
There's a lot of nonprofits I can connect you to
That'd be
who are
awesome.
working in North Carolina.
That would be something I would be interested in.
I would love to see that
I
happen.
love helping people who want to work.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a desire to wake up in the morning and go do it, call me.
Yeah.
Because I'll fuel you and I'll coach you and I'll give you everything you need.
Yep. We can work with other partners to figure out the housing situation
Right.
and the transportation. There's kind of what we call wraparound services because there needs to be a place to live, food to eat, transportation to get in and out of work. But there's
We
ways to
talked
make
about
it.
the military too. A lot of vets that come out, they don't have any jobs, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But they're disciplined.
Yeah.
And that's something I like is the vets. Like the guys that have been in the military and then they come out and they're just lost. They
Yeah.
don't know what to do,
Yep.
But anyway, thank you so much for your time. Anything you want to add?
I would love to see you at TorchBearer Tachyon
All
between
right,
now and Christmas.
All right.
What do you think? This is a 45-minute experience.
Can we drink?
You can drink. It's
All
not
right.
necessary, but
All
it's going to feel like you're on a true
right.
psychedelic journey.
Well, I'll do pre-buzz. So that means
Okay.
I'll have a couple of drinks before I get there.
And bring Audrey, and I would love to see you guys enjoy
Yeah.
for 45 minutes a Tachyon experience.
The thing is, you came on my podcast and you have this beautiful smile and this aura about you that is very hard. I can see why you were so successful in sales. You are very hard to say no to.
Well, I hope then that we can take that to to the bookings of
Love
TorchBearer
it.
Tachyon. It's all online.
Adrienne, thank you so much for your time. This has been a great podcast, and thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
so cool. All right, wrap it up. Number 26. Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk with Mike Burke. You guys have a great day.